Apparently, John Sarver was found guilty today. How the hell could that be? You know, they found no DNA at the crime scene that matched him. The lead investigator claims there's no way to tie him to the murder, but they found him guilty. He didn't get a fair trial. The family member's DNA was left out. Every suspect but his DNA was the only one submitted. And it didn't match anything. I'm gonna expose a lot tonight. I'm gonna tell you what Candace told me in private. I'm gonna expose a lot of officers tonight, including Nate Cranston of Adams County, Larry Warren of Adams County, and Brian Illingworth of Wood County. The Eleanor Roberts murder happened in 1984. It wasn't until 1988 that John Sarver was even questioned about it. He was questioned by Brian Illingworth. But Brian Illingworth took him to Adams County, to Nate Cronstedt's house over in Strong's Prairie. He claims it was so to give John a little bit more comfortable atmosphere. You don't take the man 40 miles away to give him a comfortable atmosphere. You take him out for coffee, for Christ's sake. That was a bogus place. It just happened to be the day before the Strong's Prairie woman died in 1988. Very same era. Very same exact day. The next day, next morning, early morning, there was a brown truck parked in front of the woman's house during the homicide. It belonged to Nate Cronstedt during the homicide. Larry Warren had help in taking this woman out. Nate Cronstedt was only the alibi, the lookout. Brian Illingworth helped Larry Warren kill this woman because this woman had a lien on his property and she was going to cash in on it, and he couldn't have that. They figured they'd blame one of the locals. Now, where do I get my information? Now, John Sarver heard the story. He told his sister. His sister told me. And the only reason I can almost bet that it's true, his sister never, I don't think, ever spent any time in Adams. So she would have no idea who Nate Cronstedt or Larry Warren was. None whatsoever. Never met these people, but she could drop their names to me because they were involved in the killing of a woman in Adams County in 1988 in Strong's Prairie. Yeah. This and other stuff I was supposed to testify to. Everything that Candace told me. Candace also told me that Brian told her that he was involved in that murder in Strong's Prairie. And the names of the people that were involved with that. And he said Nate Cronstedt and Larry Warren. Candace is dead. so she can't verify anything I'm saying. I've been saying all along, it's been Larry Warren. However, Nate Cronstead never came, I didn't know he even existed anymore. I thought he retired a long time ago, but apparently he was involved in that too. He was the alibi or the lookout. See, by him allowing Brian to bring John down to Adams to allegedly question, it'll give Brian an alibi for being there. Because he's investigating another cold case. However, Candace also told me that Brian and that Brian Illingworth, Lynn Roberts, Marshall Roberts, and some woman named June Roberts are the ones that killed Eleanor Roberts. But Marshall Roberts is dead. He was a son. And then later that, as we go up the timeline to 1995 when Deidra Week was killed, Brian Illingworth was in the car that killed Deidra Week. Slaughtered her all over the pavement. Laura Potter was driving. Greg Potter was the DA. They covered it up. Now, after Brian Illingworth got done testifying at the John Sarver trial this week, he was pulled into Sheriff Beck's office and was confronted. And he admitted to being in the car when it struck and killed Deidra Week. He admitted to it. He admitted that Laura, after it struck the kid, struck the child, and there was blood all over the car, they went immediately to the car wash to wash everything off. And he admitted to this. Why is he not in jail? At least for that murder. Now, like I said, Candace is dead, so she can't corroborate everything I'm saying. This is how you guys wonder how I get my information. Why I think Larry Warren is. Because it was someone that didn't know Larry Warren, someone that didn't know Nate Cronstead, mentioned their names in killing this woman in Strongest Prairie. Of course, that person is dead now. Which leads me to a very other suspicion. Candace threatened Brian to go public with what she knew about him. Next thing I know, she's dead. True, she had a few addictions, and I feel in my heart that Brian Illingworth poisoned her to shut her up. That's what I believe. No proof to that, but. So, my hunch all along was correct. Larry Warren is the killer of that woman. Nate Cronstead, I guess, was just an alibi, but he knew about it. He drove the brown truck. He had a brown truck. That could be all verified. I mean, how is John supposed to know who these two people are? You know, he told his sister, who told me. She'd never been outside of Wood County, so how the hell is she going to know who Larry or Nate is? You officers in Adams County need to stop blaming my friends and start looking at your own. You'll be very surprised at how many people Larry Warren has killed in your county. I know quite a few more that Candace had told me. And as far as the John Sarver case, the Eleanor Roberts case, When Candace told me this information, I didn't know how to take it. Because at the time I was kind of new to the case, you know. The crazy thing about it is what they did with a murder weapon was put it in a bag, gave it to John, and told him to keep it for safekeeping. Otherwise, he was going to be next. So did John know about it? Yes. He was scared to death. He was a victim of circumstance. That murder weapon stayed in John Sarver's mom's house for a very long time. It stayed out in her shed, out in the shed of her house. Me and an officer who was investigating a cold case went to talk to Candace. I picked up the letter opener. You heard me mention the letter opener a couple of times. Candace admitted that the letter opener, the reason it's in the bag is because it has the killer's fingerprints on it and it has Mrs. Roberts' DNA on it. And this is why part of the defense wanted me to testify, but the prosecution really didn't want me to testify. That's why they didn't put no warrant when I decided not to show up. I decided not to show up because of the exposure I will do to these police officers that I got from a woman who can't verify my story. But the proof is that she didn't know these two officers from Adams County, but she dropped their names like they were nothing. The fact that when Brian Illingworth got done testifying at the John Sarver case this week, he was pulled into the sheriff's office and he admitted to covering up the murder of that 11-year-old child. He admitted to Laura Potter killing that girl. And come to find out, Greg was in the back seat, her husband. They all three covered up a fucking murder of an 11-year-old child. A simple accident, which is possible. They were all drunk at the time. How the hell you could convict John Sarver with no DNA, no way to tie him to the murder, but you're going to find him guilty. You're going to allow all these other officers, because they are officers or district attorneys, to go free for killing people, killing the woman in Strong's Prairie, killing the little girl in Vesper. How the fuck you can stand by killing, from what I understand, Eleanor Roberts, who you blame John Sarver for, who you have no physical evidence that he did it. Who was the judge today? Was that Judge Potter? Gee, go figure, huh? I'm hearing smell of a railroad. You hear it choo-choo? I do. Because Judge Potter, I'm coming after your ass next, buddy. You got a lot of hidden secrets that I already know about. And they're going to come out soon. Trust me. The train hasn't stopped yet, buddy. Because I'm coming for you. And I will expose your dumb ass. And if it wasn't Judge Potter, still, I've got a lot of secrets on you. Too many. Oh, not just the ones I've heard from Candace, but the ones I've heard from your family members who are on recording saying this stuff. And I'm sure you won't want certain things to get out. Apparently they verified them to me, so I can verify them, those recordings to other people. But I ain't going to verify them to you because I ain't going to give you the chance to know what I got on you. See, you think because I'm not law enforcement, or I'm not legal representative, or I'm not some kind of legal agent, I can't do these things, I can't investigate stuff, but I can. And I will. And I'll continue to bring down people like Larry Warren, Nate Cronstead, bring down people like Brian Illingworth. When you guys want to put an innocent man behind bars that you can't even prove was guilty in the first place. You have no proof he was at Eleanor Roberts' house at the time of the murder. But I've got a witness, well, she's dead now, but she verified to me 2 names she could never possibly knew. So I knew what she was telling me was the truth, regardless of what anybody else says. She may have told a few stories, but when she dropped those names to me, when she dropped Warren and Cronstead to me, I knew damn well she knew what she was talking to. I knew damn well these 2 killed the strong prairie woman. When I hear it from a young girl who's never even hardly even left Wisconsin Rapids, could never known these 2 men, and it gave, and by Brian Illingworth saying, I'm going to take John Sarver to Adams County to Nate Cronstead's house at the time of the murder of the Strong Prairies woman. You tell me what you're going to think. I told you, Larry Warren is a guilty party. That's my opinion. And if Candace was still alive today, she could verify everything I said. And as far as where the murder weapon is now, that's no one's business but my own. You let John go, and I'll give you the murder weapon to bring Brian Illingworth down, along with Lynn Roberts and June Roberts, since Marshall's already dead. But you gotta drop all charges against. And I ain't withholding any information because that really is not in my possession. It's actually in the possession of the state. You guys just don't know where it's at. But you soon will. As long as John Sarver gets free for a crime he obviously did not commit. Actually, by your guys' own evidence, your guys' own words, he did not do nothing wrong. You did not show reasonable doubt, and you still convicted this man. Because you didn't want these secrets getting out, but you had no idea that I knew the secrets. People who know me know when I start digging, I don't stop. And guess what? I know a ton more secrets about Adams County and about Rapids that I think I'm just going to take to the feds, that I have written documentation on, signed by officers who are the guilty party of certain situations. How did I get those documents? That's none of your fucking business. Wisconsin is crooked and corrupt, and anyone moving there is looking for fucking trouble. I'm Jim with Life's Adventures, keeping it real. Stay safe and stay out of Wisconsin.